I can't wait to read it.
All right, who have we got next?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Hey, Obi, how's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. I mean, first of all, congrats on something really amazing, something very unique in the blockchain space. I'm sure all of us are really enjoying what we've seen so far. And massive congrats and huge source of pride for a fellow Aussie. Just a very quick, I've got a couple here just to follow up to Newt that was on earlier in regards to lands being taken by the various syndicates. How would the mercenaries fit into that? Because I do believe that there was discussion about mercenaries.
So essentially, mercenaries are citizens of the parent syndicates, Zaibatsu or Boston or Red Mountain, and they haven't aligned themselves with a subsidiary, and they can basically accept contract work from anyone within that parent syndicate, and there'll be a lot of different like gameplay that they can kind of involve themselves in, and a lot of it will be very much kind of PvP related. Mercenaries within the law are essentially ways for syndicates to get around the laws of the world. So
right, okay, so they wouldn't be able to overtake and then own a particular piece of land from the three syndicates.
Not from the parent syndicates, but from the actual like subsidiary player syndicates. They would be able to.
So if Boston hired me to go and smash Zaibatsu and give the land over to them, I could.
Yes, yeah, that'll definitely be a potential gameplay mechanic.
Got it. Awesome. Just to go back to very quick one also there from Plush. Just in terms of the law, I think it's super important as well. There have been projects that have released digital books as well prior or even post-launch that just gives a little bit, because, I'm in a lot of Discords and a lot of people said, hey, which one are we going to join and why? Where's the backstory to why I really need to make that emotional connection? And of course, the financial connection to that particular syndicate. So I think it's very important to make sure that happens somewhere down the track.
Yeah, all of that stuff will come out before the launch of the main platform, which is when your association with the syndicate will really matter. Right now with the battle stream, it's more of a fun, in an Australian fashion, sledging potential.
Yeah, love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. But so I'll just, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say we definitely have our chief writer came to me not long after we created the first mini game and said, we should write a book. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, we should. So that's definitely on the cards.
Yep, which sort of ties into my next question. A form of staking, and we touched on it very early, or just a few moments ago prior to the AMA, in the form of proof of attendance, where you have a platform where you encourage players to be there and to actively participate, and there is a digression when they don't participate. So if you just leave the computer on, you'll have a 0 times multiplier and you won't earn anything. So could that be tied into the staking of your subs? And in terms of staking your subs, you earn a fraction of what you would earn by actively participating, but you earn an NFT which you can then later use to create or craft something.
There is a mechanism for that coming, because I don't. We kind of always plan to not do your traditional DeFi style staking or yield farming, but we wanted the same mechanism in games. So, in my mind, these actions should directly boost the economy of the actual game world. And so what we've got is the ability to invest in service providers within and when I say invest, I want to make it really clear to anyone from the SEC who's listening that by invest I mean in game, a game mechanism where you actually take some ownership of a syndicate, and for that you're paid dividends in world, in game, from the services they provide. So one of the first opportunities will be to in gameplay invest in the insurance providers, and take a small dividend of all the insurance that are sold to the mech battles. So in a sense, it's more like like traditional EFTs in game. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this will provide that mechanism.
I think it's also just to avoid, what we've seen in many, well, pretty much every form of a blockchain game where, the tokens are getting dumped. There needs to be an incentive also just to stake your subs, if there isn't enough, to spend them on within the game itself.
Yeah, and that's it's one of the reasons why we're committed to like putting
Right.
like releasing. Oh, so let me just answer this one quickly. So it's why we're committed to releasing all of our NFT drops and seasons in the game world for subs. And so, for example, with our Genesis drop, we've cleared 8 million subs out of circulation already. So, this kind of serves as a nice sink, and will provide stability to the token itself.
Yeah, and I think that's a brilliant move, and I think something that is unique in itself, and I think very well received. I've just
But
got one more
I
question, if
was,
you don't mind.
yeah, let me just add on that. It wasn't an easy decision because, if we went the traditional way and just sold everything for ETH or Solar BNB, we would make money directly. But we're committed to the long term sustainability
Yeah,
of the game world itself. So yeah, great
yeah,
question. Thank you.
and look, just one more thing. When I saw what was happening and how it was happening, and I saw the flippers cringe, I loved it.
It's
Last one.
good to hear.
Last one. Weapons. Once they are available, of course, they'll be available for subs. Once you equip them onto the mechs, will they be removable?
Yes, you. One of the first one of the first releases we'll do that kind of leads into the full game platform is a mech hanger where you'll be able to swap out weapons, swap out like ability power ups, and configure the loadout of your mech. So that's it's really important that these weapons can be pulled out as NFTs, brought in as NFTs, put into the mech, and then the whole mech brought out as NFTs. Uh, all mechs will essentially be configurable.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, and thanks, guys. Thanks for hearing me out.
No worries. Thanks for the great questions.
Thank you.
Hey guys, good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Right on. Thanks for having me on again. And since last we spoke, congratulations on all the progress you all have made. It was lovely to be experiencing the game, and I'm even more a believer now than I was before. In terms of actual game design, I'd say you guys have found the fun, as they say, in just the current state.
Yeah, I was pretty wrapped. We'd obviously played it internally and we played it in closed groups, but it the amount of fun from having like 500 to 1,000 people online in each syndicate, all battling over the outcomes of the battle was incredibly addictive. Just for myself, like I couldn't look away.
Very nice indeed. Yeah, opportunities for real emergent gameplay, I would say, which is the very best. Someone tried to nuke Red Mountain and it landed on top of a building. We were spared and won the match. It was great.
Yeah, I love these. I love these outcomes. The one that happened to me was I actually put in a fair amount of stops and got some Boston dogs, and they were running into the battle, and someone nuked them. It was really sad.
Right on. So that actually, the Boston Dogs leads to a comment and question I had. With regard to copyright issues, the Boston Dogs look awfully close to the IRL thing. And I wanted to also point out, say, naming Zaibatsu mechs Gundam and Evangelion has some copyright concern. Are you guys going to be adjusting that?
So the dogs are definitely covered by satire. So we're fine from a copyright sense there. They're not they're not like an exact copy of the Boston Dynamics dog, and it's more an homage. When you look at the state of robotics in current day, Boston Dynamics definitely, at least from a public perspective, one of the most advanced. So in our sense, it made perfect sense in the lore of Supremacy that this alternate universe's version of Boston Dynamics is dominant in the world of robotics and AI, and that was it's kind of like a fun tap of the nose towards Boston Dynamics, especially all their contracts with the defense industry, with the defense sector. With the textures, I'm fairly certain we're covered. We may just do the old GTA or unlicensed soccer games, and we'll just change the name slightly.
There's a reason why Rockstar does that, and also doesn't say take a model of her Lamborghini and bring it over too directly. At least in American copyright law, we always say we got to be 20% different. The legal basis being you cannot construe what you are being inspired by with your own commercial project.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's probably an oversight, and I will definitely, at the very least, speak to our lawyers, and you may see the name change slightly.
If I can just jump in there as well, Alex, and I'm sorry, the block, from my experience, of course, Harmony Gold. When you look at the Mech Warrior universe, there was a huge ongoing battle, which I think still to this day kind of is still going. So I think it's very much worth considering.
Yeah, I've already engaged the team in chat right now, so you may notice those changes sooner than later.
Yeah, you can play the 20% different game fairly well, but once you start using the name of what's inspiring you, then it becomes open and shut case. In any case, let's move on from that. I had a few, say, mechanical questions regarding the battle arena, which I've heard a bunch of people asking. May I ask, say, the surviving war machines from a match, do they move on to the next match?
Do you mean in phase 2, the full
We'll say
world?
at present or in future. Some people thought they saw the same mechs moving from one match to the next, say the survivors. Is that a component or no?
No. So that was actually, in all honesty, that was actually a bug where we had increased the amount of mechs in the levels just to increase the intensity of the battles and clear the queue quicker. But what we found was that the actual process that removed the mechs from queue afterwards was not written to be dynamic and pulled the previous number out. So that's fixed, and in the next version, you won't see mechs repeating in the next battle.
Right on. And then a somewhat related question, a lot of people have been asking when Red Mountain does their reinforcement special and pulls in a new mech, where is that mech coming from? Is it the next in the queue or out of nowhere?
Sorry, it broke up a little bit there. Would you mind repeating the question?
So the Red Mountain special ability of reinforcement replaces a downed mech with a new mech. We wonder, where does that new mech entering the fray come from?
So it's not a player-owned mech. And it's not a full-size mech. So if you actually look at it in the battle stream, you'll notice like it's I think it's about 75% the size of a standard war machine, Red Mountain war machine. And in lore, which you'll read more about when we actually release the lore pages, Red Mountain don't have a huge presence on Earth, but what they have is a lot of drop ships sitting in space, just waiting to throw down and help battles. So the reinforcements is essentially calling in a mech from one of these dropships.
That's very
But-
cool. Very cool.
But because these dropships are kind of, they're not full size battleships, they only have these smaller mechs just to provide support, basically.
Very cool. One more question with regard to the economics. Do you all have insight as to the percentage of private sale SUPs that have been invested into the game via buying mystery crates versus those still held liquid?
Yeah, we definitely have all that data, and a very large percentage. I don't have the exact information in front of me, but a very large percentage of the purchases of mechs was from these private sale people. Essentially, with the agreement that they have to, like the agreement that they made or will make, they can spend their SUPs in game, but they can't pull it out of game. So there's and with the amazing results we're seeing on OpenSea, I think they've kind of identified that NFTs are a good way to get something back before they actually can redeem their SUPs. So it's quite exciting. I've just noticed that one of the Deus Ex mechs, which is a one of each faction, is getting some pretty high offers on OpenSea. Not being taken, mind.
That's all very exciting. I was actually fortunate enough to win a gold one from the Twitter contest, so I can't wait for these things to go to the moon. One last question, perhaps. This is the last one. When, say, you guys have everything up and running, phase 1 or phase 2, all nice and stable, what is your ideal queue time to get mechs into a battle match?
So we are bringing in mechanisms to essentially incentivize queuing when there's not many in the queue, and disincentivize queuing when there's too many in the queue. Because we generally don't want people just queuing their mech and then not actually participating. It's much more fun when the actual mech owner is right there, watching their mech and hopefully trying to win abilities to protect and enforce their mech. So that'll be coming in with the release today, and so we'll be testing this. It's in our internal tests it works quite well, but we'll see what the community thinks. But yeah, we don't want 800 mechs in front of you. It kind of takes the fun out of it, and that's pretty much what people are experiencing at the moment.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in there, and thanks for the great questions, Block. Is there a consideration for multiple servers down the track? Is that going to work?
It's definitely something it's very likely we'll do it. There are some considerations. The streaming network is not cheap. The streaming platform that we've designed. We essentially have. I know you only see like 3 servers in the drop down, but they're actually like what are called load balancers, and behind each one of those sits 20 to 30 servers. So we're running about 80 streaming nodes around the world. So it's quite an expensive process to roll out new streams. However, if our economy and the game can support it, we absolutely will do it. So the thinking is, with the math that we've come up with, that it should be doable fairly soon, and we'd like to get at least 3 running within like 6 months. But yeah, a lot of that just comes down to the economics of it.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that even today at 4 p.m. My time, in a couple of hours when we launch, we're going to queue up our mechs, and towards the end it'll be like queue number 1,500. Now, if the game really takes off, it'll be your mechs queued up number 10,000. We hope. Now, that's where multiple instances of the game should be probably considered, just so people don't actually then queue their mechs and switch off for 24 hours to watch their
There
own
is
mechs.
also another plan there where when we get to the stage of launching an actual desktop client, that we won't need to stream it in the same way. So it'll be more like playing a multiplayer game, and you'll actually be able to kind of connect to the net, like the service itself, and the rendering happens on your computer. This is a bit away because there's quite a bit of work to be done with this, but that would mean we could have essentially almost unlimited amount of games going on. We do want to keep it so there is one main battle stream, though. There's the core thing to watch, like the spectator element of it is really important. So balancing that is going to be interesting, and we won't really know how to tackle that until we're there. But it is really important to us that people join in on the viewing of that one primary battle. But there's no reason we can't have fun PvP streams happening in other places within the world, and we can easily tie it into the lore. So yeah, I guess my answer is really wait and see.
Yeah, I think once we start fighting over lands, I think it'll be worth watching faction-specific battles over a specific piece of land rather than watching an overall stream. Yeah,
that's right, and it'll be a lot of fun for the players to kind of follow where these battles are happening around the world, and plug in and see what's happening. It's definitely something on our internal roadmap. We have just a few questions we need to be able to answer before we can commit to anything.
So in light of this discussion, a common question we're seeing in chat is, what is the final ROI of owning more mechs, say? And there's an easy equation. If they are in battle more often, then there is direct ROI on more mechs to more battles. Is that the ultimate goal for utility of more mechs in a stable, or is it more complex?
It is definitely more complex, mainly because of just the costs to the actual project itself, especially when we're talking about rolling out new battle streams. The quick answer is what we can support economically we'll do, because we would love to have 10 concurrent battles running that you can flick through just in browser. It's more the getting past the technical limitations of that and the economic limitations of that. So it's definitely more a mid to late stage move. It just I guess it depends whether I can make that argument to the money, the accountant. But it's definitely something we want to do. It's definitely right up there.
Right on. Okay, well, that's all for me. Thank you guys for making the game. And as long as you're measuring your crunch in terms of cups of coffee and not divorces, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah. I think I think you can maybe measure it. Not yet in divorces, thankfully, but maybe like disappointed phone calls is definitely up there. So hopefully that stops soon.
Right on. Thanks again.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, coming in fine.
Yeah, awesome. I was curious kind of what he was asking earlier with the reason to have more mechs, but also curious on some of the mechanisms in earning. Some of them were confusing. I was trying to figure it out during the battle. So it's streaming subs to you as you're watching, but if your mechs get in the game, do you get paid more? Unfortunately, my mechs never made it in before the game shut down.
Yeah, so the syndicate actually pays you for wins. There is information around that. It wasn't in the UI we had launched. It will be, I believe it will be. I don't want to. I'm not sure whether devs got to on that one. It's not one I've personally looked into, but there will be information on the queue screen, so you'll know how much you'd get for winning, and there's also an increase on if you're watching while your mech is battling, you get a multiplier for that. Now that's, I realize that with the queue times as they are, that's a bit more unlikely. We are building in browser notifications so that you'll know when your mech's getting close to playing. I don't believe that will be in today, but it will be in within the next week or two. You definitely get paid for your mech winning and for your mech getting kills, and it's an amount that you know before you even queue.
Awesome, thanks. Also, with land and weapons and things like that coming out, are the alpha citizens going to get priority, like a whitelist type thing, or is that just going to be given to the whole public at once?
Definitely there'll be whitelists, and anyone who owns one of the survival NFTs, which have actually been converted into keycards now, you'll get instant access into the whitelist.
Is there a reason to own? I have all three keys. Is there a reason to own all three, or is that not something important?
I can't answer that yet because we may develop strategies around that. I don't want to commit ourselves either way. But to get into the whitelists, you'll only need one of them. But I don't want to commit to anything. I don't want to sway you one way or another. These are the kind of things that we can have fun with in future campaigns. So that's not trying to get you to keep them. I just don't want to commit to saying one way or the other.
The three major keys are a beautiful collection.
Yeah, I realize I didn't answer your question, but just committing one way or the other and then having to go back on my word, it's not something I like doing.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll probably hold on to them either way. I was just curious.
Yeah, great question, and definitely one I was going to get asked eventually anyway. Thanks for that.
I think particularly with keys and NFTs is like the ability to value add is always there, and our ambition to do that is there. And so how that strategy develops over time is also a progression as we continue.
Could also be tied into one of the future whitelists where if they are limited, depending on the number of keys, apart from buying one crate, you could buy multiples depending on the number of key cards you have. Just an idea.
Yeah, there's tons of ideas, and that's why I don't want to commit one way or the other. We love playing, like having fun with this kind of thing. That's why we made the whitelist mini game. So we'll come up with new ideas in the future and do cool things with lore and with the already existing collections. So it's one of those, another wait and see.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, absolutely. How's it going?
Yeah, so you've created kind of a tight-knit group of rabid fans here, and it's kind of might be a pressing question, but I'm sure we all want to know about the stability of the streams and how often you think you'll have it online in the near future, 24/7 kind of a thing.
So obviously the goal is 24/7. It's more likely, especially as we move really quickly on development and bring in new features, that we definitely won't be able to promise 100% uptime. But
for sure,
things are definitely getting more stable. We will be scheduling constant like hour downtime for maintenance, but you'll know when it happens, and we'll schedule it for the when we're at our lowest usage. Ultimately the goal is it'll be up as much as possible. We've never really been able to test the actual stream site with so many users. So I think at one point we had close to 8,000 people all streaming 1080p, and that's and it actually was able to deliver it without issue. But as the numbers grow bigger and bigger, it's definitely going to put some pressure on our infrastructure team. So I don't want to make any promises, but we'll always be putting in systems to make sure we can deal with the load.
That's amazing. I think we were just, we're all kind of dying to play again after this 2 or 3 day little stretch here. So I didn't know if you were anticipating that kind of downtime over the next couple of weeks.
I really want to be able to promise no, and we're working hard to make sure that it's the downtime will be as short as possible. It's whenever you launch a game where you get lots of people playing it at the same time, things pop up that there's just no way to actually test for before you push it out there for live. So I guess as long as our launch isn't as as bad as Bethesda's with Fallout 76, I'll call it a success. I have a good feeling about this afternoon. So,
That's great. Yeah, I don't think anyone's upset about it or anything. Just trying to get a feel for it. That's all. Don't want to make you promise anything.
Yeah, no, I like I said, the intention is to only go down to release new features. So we'll see how we go.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks, Daniel.
So I think a lot of people were drooling when you guys posted those pictures of those extremely rare mechs, especially the Deus Ex on open seas. So, and I think you mentioned that they were about 5 out of 9 of those remaining. Do you plan on providing any type of up-to-date and remaining inventory of what's still available?
So we can pull that information up semi-regularly. And so, yeah, it's definitely an exciting little bit to share what's in there, in the crates still, with around 70% of all the Genesis have sold out so far. So there's a bit under 30% less left. Of the 3 Deus Exes in each syndicate, there's the 3 Nebulas from Boston, 2 of the Red Whites from Red Mountain, and there's 1 Chalky Neon from Zaibatsu left in the Deus Ex area. And then the Guardians, the next one, Irradiated, Molten, and Purple Haze. There's still about 5 of 10 still left in each syndicate. So definitely intending to share a bit more of what's left in the crates over the coming days and week.
Yeah, because if people get an idea that they're running out of time, that may cause a frenzy of buys in a very rapid amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly now as we're seeing, some of the Deus Exes getting 1.53 ETH offers on OpenSea, and knowing that there's still 2/3 of the Deus Exes still in crates is very exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy too, and I think as the game evolves, any future releases you guys have, people are probably going to consider that, well, if the earliest mechs sold for that much, then perhaps the newer editions, not necessarily saying they would be better, but they would probably, if people do want to sell them, it would render some promising opportunities for people. Okay, but that was my question. So thanks for answering. You guys have a good day.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for the question.
Daniel.
I'll just jump in once again, guys, and sorry, just to keep butting in, but just in regards to the mechs, when do you see the actual traits of the mechs being deployed on the battlefield?
So some of that is coming in this afternoon, and you'll start to see some differences with the rares actually in the battlefield, and there's more stuff coming. So one of the things we wanted to make sure is that just viewing the battle stream, you'll be able to go, oh look, wow, that's a rare. You'll be able to actually spot them, even as gameplay is hectically moving forward. So yeah, that was pretty important to us.
And it's probably something that ties back to the previous question, and obviously that will affect prices on OpenSea.
Yeah, well, it's we're pretty stoked by what's happening on OpenSea, and it's early days, so I can't wait to see where it goes.
I'm definitely one of those that are stoked. Diamond hands.
Nice.
Desert Phantom, how's it going?
Good. Once again, loving everything so far, and can really see the way the community's rallying around each other, both within their respective syndicates and also supporting their opposing factions a bit, and helping each other. I think that's the thing that I love about this more than anything, as someone that's done a bit of community management in my time. But which brings me to that question. Obviously, it's not going to be until the phase where people can be a mercenary for their syndicate and go and do some cheeky espionage type behaviours and things like that. But one thing where I've seen a little bit of is people that maybe at this point have pledged to a particular syndicate and wants, maybe is now being enticed to move to another syndicate. And obviously, currently, the only way to do that would be to set up a new account, maybe gas your mechs out and regas them into another wallet. But what if they, say, wanted to give a crack first and maybe only send one mech over out of their however many they've got? Let's use your 2 starters as an example, and now found themselves going, well, why don't I just play on both, and whichever team's winning, I'll pledge more of my subs and more of my mech's time to it. What's your guys' view on those kind of multi-account players? We all know that plenty of MMOs and games, people have their alt accounts that help support their main accounts, or even just want to play as part of a group of other people that they get along really well, but they spent 6 months building up a main with one community and then found themselves with a group, and it used to happen back even as far back as WoW days, having that character both on Horde and Alliance and things like that. What's your guys' view on those kind of behaviours by people within the community?
I think as long as they're acting in good faith, and when they are essentially role playing as an enlistee for that faction, that syndicate, they're doing their best to help the syndicate. I'm okay with it. It's when potentially players are trying to sabotage that it could be interesting, and if we start seeing that kind of gameplay and behavior, we do have mechanisms that we're planning to bring in, where there'll be kind of in syndicate tools to moderate and I don't want to say control the enlistees, but actually have a hierarchy. It needs a lot of thought before we implement anything like that, though. So it's probably something we'll actually come out to the community with and share our ideas and see which one people kind of respond well to.
No, look, that's a good thought. I think that's a really good thought process. I think a few people's initial concerns was, empty mechs, sub farming wallets, which, me personally, I'm totally against that sort of stuff in any game. I even used to be the one that reported a lot of gold farmers to the game to the GMs in games and stuff over the years, because I just think that stuff sort of ruins the spirit of the game. But it's always in the spirit of any game, and it happens in real world where people choose to repledge their allegiance elsewhere and revoke their allegiance, or even be a double agent, if you will, and spy for each other. And I think that in itself is a typical tactic of war, and to not have that capability in the game would be upsetting. But I also understand where you're coming from. You don't want people to completely abuse that just for their own personal financial / sub gain, because that's not fair on the greater community. But no, I wanted to ask, because I've seen, I myself have spent a bit of time jumping between chats in the Discord and rolling up a bit of propaganda, but as a result I've made some great friends across all 3 syndicates, even though we might josh each other up when our preferred syndicate's winning. We may choose one day that we want to fully align or pledge ourselves to a different syndicate at some point, because we feel that stronger emotional attachment, or maybe we want to do it to start to build our own little uprising for when players can have a bigger impact on future syndicate takeovers and expansions and land grabs and that sort of stuff. So good to sort of hear that yous aren't straight out saying, no, we don't want you, one person, one account, one person. But it's good to hear that, yous are still thinking about those that may abuse that for their own gain and destroy the good community you're growing here.
Yeah, I think the community is probably best positioned to protect the syndicate communities, and so we'll definitely be implementing tools to make that possible. The thought of blocking people, one person, one account, it's really difficult anyway in the crypto world. We'd have to do something like KYC, know your customer, which I don't think our players would respond that well to. So it's,
as someone that does account development, consumers don't respond well to that stuff sometimes when they're having it pushed on them. So I feel the know your customer kind of concepts. The gamers like to be able to do that. They like to have their alt accounts. They like to be able to kind of invest majority into one, but still dabble and play around on a different faction or a different server or whatever the case may be is. So no, I really appreciate that you're not turning around and going, don't do this, because I think that is not in the spirit of true gaming culture. Is you want to play the field sometimes, but it's good to hear you thinking about the bot farm accounts that may set up in certain countries, trying to just purely focus on abusing the great game and great community you have. So good to hear that, and that's what I wanted to ask about. And as I said, I've made so many friends in different groups. I'm still not sure where my original pledges may lie. So, but they'll have to do for now, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see, and we have mechanisms in place to incentivize people joining syndicates with lower numbers. So we should see it kind of auto balancing. And as for the bot farmers, we've actually already seen bots hit us, trying to get in and earn some subs, and we've brought some mechanisms into the infrastructure to stop that. And we've also implemented a refreshed multiplier system coming out this afternoon, which will completely disincentivize bots. The entire intention right from the start was to reward participation, and anyone who's just kind of joining in or joining a bot in to just put one sup into an ability every 10 minutes. They're going to find that strategy no longer works.
Yeah, my index finger gets quite sore some days already now, trying to spam those spin buttons just to make sure we balance things in our favour. So it's I think those auto setup programs having something that causes them that unless someone's actually sitting there, doing that, spamming their subs in and trying to make a serious, impact on the interactive engagement piece is great. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I could talk about this sort of stuff all day, so I'll leave someone else to jump up and have a chat as well. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for the great questions again. Hey, Obi.
I'm going to jump back in again, just taking questions off one of the Discord channels from Supremacy, and the questions come up regarding insurance. Although it's not implemented at the moment, how is insurance going to work? How will the mechs take damage in the near future?
So there is a basic implementation of insurance right now, and it's because we've disabled total destruction at this point. We don't want anyone losing their max at in early stages, but it will be coming back on. So insurance does two things. It increases the rate, right now, it actually increases the rate of your repairs. So if you have insurance turned on and enter with insurance, your repairs after the battle will happen a lot quicker. I don't know how useful this is when we have a queue of 800 people, but that's what the mechanism does. Once we turn on,
or 5,000 very soon.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting, and we'll the mechanisms around damage and repair and insurance will definitely be adjusted over this early access stage so that we can essentially control that battle queue as well. The idea of putting things in place to make sure that the queue is always available in a fairly accessible way for people with mechs ready to go is important to us. How easy that will be, I don't know. It's going to be a big problem, but we'll always be adjusting and trying to figure out solutions to it. We may even start doing things like big battle royales where it's 100 versus 100 versus 100. We have quite a few options to clear queues out in fun ways, but we'll see, and we'll kind of float ideas to the community themselves.
Yeah, look, be very careful with that, because according to stage 4 of the white paper, once we are piloting our mechs, 300 players on a field will be very difficult with damage modeling, and that leads me to the next question. The actual damage modeling. So if and how will it be implemented? If my mech loses a leg, so we're talking about pinpoint targeting, etc. Will my mech slow down? Will it show in the stream that it's lost an arm or lost a leg?
That's definitely in our internal roadmap, and we're looking at mechanisms where if you lost a leg and you're uninsured, then you'll have to get it repaired. If you lost a weapon, that weapon will be gone, and you'll have to construct or purchase a new one. There's, if you're uninsured, I mean, that's all part of it. It's not in the current build, but it is in a feature branch, so it will arrive within a few months.
Oh, that makes me want to ask something now. I've got a few guys I'm talking to that are really amazingly keen on the idea of obviously designing their own AIs for the mechs, that, as you have said, they'll be able to do, and possibly even rent that AI out to other people. Are you looking at a mechanic where during an individual battle we may be able to hack an enemy's AI and take temporary control of their mech, or have our AI then embed itself for that battle only? I'm not saying like permanently, because we're not trying to steal someone's NFT or anything, but just for that match, next thing you know, they've got their BC or Xi or whatever mech is now attacking their teammates because you've been able to hack that.
We have some ideas around that as far as the PvP stuff goes, especially for the mercenaries. I can't say anything too specific because a lot of it really is just ideas, and we have to kind of be very careful about how we introduce stuff like that, because you can totally destroy the game. So it's definitely something we're actively considering. Yeah.
I love that. We're in a futuristic world. If you can't hack and take control of those sort of things, it all would fit within the law of AIs, and embedding code into an enemy's AI to screw them up. And I think we've already seen a little bit of that behavior by the mechs not recognizing the correct targets and stuff. So being able to actually have a mechanic like that where we could stage those situations in a battle and cause them to, suddenly disable their main rocket or face the wrong way or shoot at a teammate, even if only for a 3 or 5 second interval for that moment of takeover, that would be an awesome feature. And I think you need to progress that idea as well, because it's really in the spirit of mech battling.
Oh, we definitely have ideas that we're playing with. And in that PvP side of the contractors, there will absolutely be, defense contractors and counterintelligence contractors and essentially hackers. So it's just it's such early days that I don't want to make any promises to features that we may not be able to deliver on quickly. So, but I can guarantee that it's something we're definitely actively thinking about.
Yeah, you don't want everyone drooling all over their keyboards already just yet. So give them time to chew up what they've currently got before they start drooling over the next big thing using in a feature. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. It's so easy in this space to talk about all the cool things we could do, but it all costs time and has to be planned and rolled out carefully. So a lot of the responsibility of the project is just to maintain, manage expectations, and not sell anything that it's going to take us some time to implement. But I can guarantee you that we love that idea, and we're definitely moving towards it. And when we have more concrete ideas, once it's already in development, then we'll start talking about it in a big way. But until then, it's kind of like, we'll keep it under our hat.
You just used my favorite line that I use all the time: manage expectations when selling. It's the key, isn't it? So awesome work, guys.
Cheers for the question, and I really do look forward to the day I can talk about it properly.
Gents, I just want to jump in very quickly. There's a list of questions in the Alpha Citizens chat. Perhaps you could have a look at it just to save me listening to my own voice, because probably everyone's already sick of it already. And perhaps go from there. But Bobby, Rob, you're up next, please, and go for it.
How's it going? Yeah, I was just wondering how far out the weapons are from getting released.
The next War Machine drop that we do will include weapons, and the hangar will be at the same time. So it's within a few months of the battle stream becoming dependable and stable. So hopefully that's within a few months of today. But there's the team are actively putting it together now, and as soon as we've got enough of it assembled that we can accurately predict a release date, you'll see the cool weapons that we're releasing. There's going to be some pretty awesome stuff.
And if you are looking for a bit of a sneak peek on some of the weapons, there is also content on YouTube, particularly the pyrotechnics, flamethrower creation. So the content graphic artists and 3D modelers recorded their screens, and we've put together a making video of how it was created.
Yeah, we actually, on all the graphic designers and concept artists and modelers, we installed basically software to take a screenshot every 30 seconds and and we've created videos of these things actually being designed and created. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you can check out some of that on YouTube, and we'll definitely be releasing more over the next few weeks too.
Sweet. Very sweet. So I'm going to jump in again. Sorry, guys. The mechs, in terms of their weapon mounts, will those mounts be expandable in terms of their points as the mechs level up?
No. So the mech chassis itself is a fixed thing, and its upgrades are more its armor points and speed and base stats. To get a mech with more hard points for items and weapons, you'll have to buy a new chassis. So
right.
The light ones, they have 2 weapons, 1 item. A medium has 3 weapons. I believe it's 3 weapons, 2 items. I'm probably annoying our art director right now by getting it completely wrong. But essentially, the next range of mechs to be released will have a light, medium, heavy, and they'll have different hard points. We also have assault mechs coming, which are not your traditional humanoid style machine. They'll be like spider mechs and things like that, and they'll have potentially considerably more hard points and different connections. There's a whole strategy to the hard point system.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if you might be already thinking it over. I can't leave you, mate. I was going to think.
Well, I'm just going to go through the questions in the chat, mate. So what's the plans for the after the Genesis mechs, which is leads straight into that answer. What are the plans for the mechs that will be released after the Genesis mechs, and how will they differ to the Genesis mechs?
So within the law, we have subsidiaries of the syndicates who are weapons manufacturers. There's approximately somewhere between 25 and 30 that we've created already. And within, my prediction is within a few months, we'll do a big drop where they will be releasing a few mechs and a few weapons. We're still putting together exactly what will be released in this drop. But we've actually, all the stuff is already created, at least from an artistic and 3D modeling sense. And it's more about making sure our animators have got it completely animated and ready to be in game. But yeah, there's going to be essentially for each syndicate, there'll be at least 3 different mechs, and then a range of weapons. I don't know the exact details. Maybe there'll be a video where you'll be able to catch a glimpse of the whiteboard where all this is being planned.
No spoilers, Alex. No spoilers, Alex.
I think we saw that.
Yeah, I'm directly referencing that. So maybe you'll get lucky and it'll happen again.
Yeah. Very last one. The incentive, once the subs are sold out off the website, and how do we incentivize new players to buy in without a massive paywall?
Sorry, you broke up a bit there. Can you repeat?
Sorry, once the subs are sold out from the website, how do we get new players in without a massive paywall?
So there won't be a strict paywall on the game platform, like the actual battle stream. Once we are confident enough to leave early access mode, they will obviously have to get some subs to participate. By then,
so if I pray and subs are worth $5 each.
Yes. Yeah, so
in which case, you're all getting a beer.
There are.
I think a slab if it goes to that price.
Yeah, true.
We'll find them on a yacht at that stage.
So it's going to be interesting from a game dynamic sense. So you'll have noticed by playing the stream that everything everything in game is dynamically priced and based off user behavior, and these algorithms will be constantly tweaked and improved. The mentality behind that is that, with the correct strategy, you can come in on the right price window and still achieve things. So, the value of the abilities and in-game mechanisms are essentially set by the players. Now, it does mean if there's a lot of whales who are happy to just dump crazy amounts, that you may not be able to instantly become involved. However, if you're actively participating enough to get some decent multipliers, then some of that syndicate earnings will be distributed to you to encourage more participation. None of that comes from our treasury, I will add. That is also player-driven behavior. Our ultimate goal is to create an economy where, as long as you're providing value to your syndicate and to other players, you'll be able to participate and to progress within the kind of steps of the game. It's complex, and there's a lot of macro and microeconomics at play.
So to summarize it for the general person that may not understand it, is what you're saying is if a whale decides to come in and drop a shit ton of subs on a particular match or try and sway the things, it may not be as beneficial to them because they could be just sacrificing their subs to someone else that is still supporting in that, but gets a bit of a take because they haven't had a fair balance to the economy. It's actually thrown things out of whack, and your economy system will balance that. So it's not always beneficial. It's better to work as a team and all invest together.
Essentially, yeah. That whale who drops crazy amounts, that they'll get some pretty decent multipliers, but obviously they'll have to stick around to make that work for them. But it's one of those things where it's incentivized, but also on a longer timeline. So it is more like, and again, I use this word in a gameplay mechanic sense, not in a reference to the token itself, but it is more like an investment. So, I put some subs into the battle to make sure we win, and that provides a longer term reward for me, the player, and the syndicate, and it'll come back. But if you kind of expect to drop it all in, get it all back, like it's a roulette table, then that's not going to happen. But it's a pretty cool incentive and disincentive system.
Quick question for you guys. If I was to buy a Zaibatsu on OpenSea or another faction's bot, and then I'm part of a different faction, can I play that in the game, or is that something that's not possible right now?
Yes, you can play it in game. Essentially, you bought your mech on the black market from a law perspective, and you've smuggled it into your syndicate's territory. So, yes, you can.
Awesome. One more quick thing. I know that it would be probably nice to move some of the applause bar and that kind of stuff maybe up to the top or something, so you can see more of the screen. Same with the mini map. If we could move that around, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, there are some features coming out relatively soon that will improve the UX with those things. It won't be in this afternoon, at least not for the votes, but it is something we're planning on bringing in soon.
Okay, hello everyone. So first, thank you for all your work that you put into this. I would like to ask something not really mech related. It seems that up until now, most of the questions have been around the mech and the battle arena mechanics, or I guess that's a big pull for Supremacy, right? But something that interests me is more so not really phase 3. That is not really the phase 2 or like the Battle Arena phase, but more so phase 3, the release of the Syndicate HQ. So is there like any plans for or any planned date for this release? And I guess a follow-up question, if you can't answer this right now, it's okay, but a follow-up question would be, could people that invest heavy on this Syndicate HQ mechanics become the main providers of given mech pilots for weapons or armor or whatnot? Or is there like any more explanation you could give about these Syndicate HQ mechanics, more than it's explained on the white paper? But yeah, thank you.
I can touch on it lightly, and we will be bringing more information out about it as soon as as soon as the battle arena is in a stable state. The essentially, yes, you'll be able to provide like services through your syndicate. You'll also be able to kind of construct things like mechs. So there'll be blueprints that you'll be able to acquire. Anyone with these blueprints will be able to build the weapons and the mechs that are coded for the blueprint. The same goes with the user-created AIs. So if you have essentially the source code for an AI, you'll be able to clone it and then trade it in game or out on OpenSea. The syndicate platform, user syndicate platform, allows for a lot of that kind of creating in-game companies that provide services to other companies and players. It's actually, I'm actually really excited about that phase. So as we get closer to releasing it, we'll be putting a lot of information out there into the community.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I can see how having the Battle Arena first really solidify it's like an important part. So yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for the question. So I think I'll answer 3 more questions, and then I'm going to jump off and go check in with the dev teams and testing teams and see where we're at for today's release. Who's next?
I could hijack again. I'm curious, will there be a sandbox environment where we can evaluate assets like our mech loadouts or our pilot AIs in the future alongside the hangar release? Or is everything just going to be tested in battle?
No, we fully intend to have a test environment. Way back in the early days of Supremacy, we were actually in the Unity engine, and they supported targeting, like building games for web, and we had a bit of a simulator running in that. Unfortunately, Unreal Engine is not as supportive of web targets, and in fact, they don't support it themselves, and it's a thing the development community have had to create for themselves, and doesn't really work. So it's pretty likely you'll actually have to download a desktop client, which is where you'll be able to construct your AIs and test out things like that. And when we get user created textures, that desktop client will also facilitate that.
Yeah, very nice. If anyone else wants to comment, just interrupt me. Otherwise, I was going to ask, will we actually have complete freedom with 3D asset designers in the future? I'm guessing there's plans to invite designers themselves to come in and make their own community-based items. So do we have our own creative? Can we make our own design choices? Will there be a approvals process? And will the designs need to be law friendly? Otherwise, will people put like cat ears on mechs and such? Because I know some people do want that stuff.
To be honest, I don't have any firm answers around that question. It's like I would love to support that kind of functionality, but there's a lot that goes into that kind of system. So I guess my real answer is I would love to, and it's that kind of community engagement, like actually even creating custom 3D models, is really, really cool. I've never seen it in something like our world, and so if we can, we most likely will, but I can't promise anything. Yeah, it's another wait and see there.
No worries. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
No worries. Thanks, Nick.
Right, I got one more question from the channels. Some of the mech models have wings. Will they be able to fly or jump higher than the others without wings?
That's a question for our animators and art director. I don't have any answer there. The mechs are like between 6 and 9 stories tall, so they'll never fly. But maybe we'll, the wings will have
Sorry,
more than an aesthetic.
I had
use.
to ask that one. It was the last one on the list.
Yeah, no worries.
But from my personal perspective, as a Mech Warrior online player for a very long time and lover of mechs, I think once you cross into that realm of stage 4, where pilotable mechs, where you customize them, obviously damage models will need to be done. Do you have the team on the ground already to do that, or is that something you somewhat, or will they be teams that you hire later?
Sorry, I missed the first half of your question. It just cut out.
So sorry, as a lover of Mech Warrior Online, as a long time player, knowing what needs to go into stage 4 of your roadmap, where the mechs are pilotable, do you have the team on the ground already to do that, or will you be hiring them later?
We do have a big enough Unreal dev team to focus on that. My plan was always to hire a specific team to do it, though, and that would mean we could actually roll it out quicker. A lot of it just depends on the how much we pull in from the token sale, whether we can fast track it. So it's kind of, my answer is both. When the sale closes, if we've managed to sell a lot of tokens, then stage 4 will definitely get fast tracked with its own independent team.
I know a few people that may be interested that have those skills and capabilities that may just be incentivized to be the ones to first have that custom mech land in the game, and maybe a few subs along with it just to help customize it and play it. So, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Nah, just kidding. But that's that anyway. I think that's a great call, in the fact that I think there's going to be some people in the community probably chomping at the bit that would be happy to support those things from an external point for you. Obviously no one wants to work for free, but it's definitely worth reaching out to a few of the community that may be able to assist in that area.
We definitely wouldn't outsource it, but any good Unreal devs out there, or 3D modelers, 3D animators, definitely reach out. We're always looking for great people.
I know you said 3 questions and I've reached it, but this is a very good one. For the mechs that are smuggled across to a different faction or different syndicate, do they retain their pre-syndicate abilities?
So some abilities are syndicate only. So for instance, if you were to import a Zaibatsu mech, it would not carry with it the overcharge. That's a Zaibatsu owned satellite that triggers that. So yeah.
Sweet. That's a good answer. Good answer. Just one last one. The AI code base, is it open source yet? And will there be an AI SDK of some sort?
It will be open source. It's not yet. We'll definitely have a few open source starters to get people into it, and there definitely will be some frameworks and things like that to make it easy for people to jump in.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you very much, and I'm going to shut up now. I'm done.
All right. Well, went over 3, but if anyone, I think we've got the 2 people in the queue. I'll answer one question from each of them. Yeah, Maka.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask, how much we put into liquidity when it launches on PancakeSwap, so the stability of the price is stable?
So there'll be 33 million tokens for liquidity, and it'll be placed at 12 cents.
Thank you, nice one. I appreciate it.
No worries. Slander?
Slander, yo, what's going on? How you doing?
Yeah, not bad yourself.
Good. Just speaking probably for half of Zaibatsu, but is there anything happening with the overcharge? I heard that there might be some tweaking going on or something, maybe.
Yeah,
because pretty much everyone worked it out.
There's some cool stuff coming. We've definitely put a bit of focus on it. So yeah, you've definitely got that to look forward to.
It wasn't too bad. You just had to really time it really well. Like really had very limited opportunities to use it where you could get away unscathed. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tip I'll give Zaibatsu members is that we can't easily control the latency of the actual video stream. Sometimes it's as low as less than a second, and other times it may be up to 10 seconds. There's a lot of networks between us and you, but the mini map is always live. So when you're doing your targeting, the mini map is your friend.
Yeah, no, I keep my eye on. That's pretty much all I watch is the mini map, and then bounce back to the main. Cool. That's all I needed.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone, and I'll do an AMA pretty soon, and hopefully we'll talk about how awesome the relaunch is. So I'll look forward to that. Thanks everyone, and if you have any more questions, just ask the team. They're usually pretty quick at responding.
Thanks, Alex. You've been massive. You and the team have done an incredible job, and you're really pumping the blockchain space. Thank you very much.
Don't congratulate us yet. There's still a lot of work to do. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning into this AMA. There's been a recording of this AMA that'll be available shortly in MP3 form, and we'll see you guys all on the Battle Arena. Thank you, everyone. Over 140 people were here throughout this AMA. Catch you guys soon. Thank you.
See you all at Boston.